Imagine a river that flows steadily, quietly carving its path through the earth. Its presence is unassuming yet powerful, commanding respect as it shapes the very landscape around it. Now, imagine that same river suddenly retreating, its waters pulling back, leaving behind a dry, empty silence. People scramble to understand the absence, to question what caused such a shift. This is the power of withdrawal. It's not loud, nor is it aggressive. It's a silent domination, rooted in control and unshakable strength. In relationships, mastering this art is the key to regaining your power and magnetism. Silence isn't the absence of something, it's the presence of everything unspoken. This quote sets the foundation for understanding withdrawal as a strategic move, not a passive reaction. It's about pulling back your energy, creating space, and letting others feel the weight of your absence. In relationships, when your partner takes you for granted, constantly pushing boundaries or failing to see your worth, the most effective response is not confrontation. It's stepping back and letting the void speak for itself. This isn't about manipulation. It's about self-respect, boundaries, and reclaiming your position as the prize. People are hardwired to crave what they cannot have, to chase after what seems just out of reach. When you're always present, readily available, and giving endlessly of yourself, your partner becomes complacent. You're like an open book they believe they've already read, shelved, and forgotten. But the moment you step back, close the book, and place it out of reach, curiosity ignites. They start to wonder, what changed? Did I lose them? Your withdrawal doesn't just create distance, it creates intrigue, a magnetic pull that draws them back toward you. This isn't about playing games or manipulation. It's about embodying your worth. Think of withdrawal as the ultimate act of self-respect, a declaration that your presence is a privilege, not a right. Absence sharpens love, presence strengthens it. This timeless adage speaks to a truth often overlooked in relationships. Sometimes, the greatest gift you can give is the gift of missing you. Like the sun disappearing behind clouds, your withdrawal creates a subtle yet powerful shift. Your partner begins to realize the warmth they once took for granted, the light they assumed would always shine. When you step back, you disrupt the rhythm they've grown accustomed to, forcing them to reflect on the void you've left behind. Imagine a rare gemstone displayed behind glass. The harder it is to access, the more people value it. Your withdrawal is that glass, a barrier that elevates your worth. By stepping back, you stop giving away your time, energy, and emotions freely. Instead, you create scarcity, and scarcity breeds desire. They start to crave what they no longer have, their thoughts consumed by the mystery of your absence. Think of yourself as a river, flowing steadily with affection, support, and attention. But what happens when that flow is unchecked, spilling into every crevice without boundaries? It erodes, floods, and ultimately loses its impact. Now picture a dam built along that river, strong, purposeful, and deliberate. When you master the art of withdrawal, you're building that dam, controlling the flow of your emotions and energy. You're no longer flooding their world with unappreciated effort. Instead, you're offering it sparingly, deliberately, and on your terms. This controlled release is what commands attention and respect. Withdrawal is your dam. It's the boundary that signals to your partner, "This is my worth." It is not infinite, and it is not free. In the philosophy of Stoicism, power lies in what you can control. You cannot control your partner's actions or feelings, but you can control your response. Withdrawal is not about ghosting or abandoning. It's about making a conscious choice to step back, realign your energy, and focus on yourself. It's about showing, not telling, that your value isn't tied to their acknowledgement. Control your emotions, or they will control you. This Stoic principle applies perfectly to relationships. When you withdraw, you're no longer reacting out of desperation, anger, or fear. Instead, you're acting from a place of inner calm and confidence. Your silence becomes a fortress, impenetrable to outside forces. This kind of strength is magnetic. It doesn't beg or plead. It simply exists, drawing others toward it like gravity. Consider this. When you withdraw without explanation, you leave behind a mystery. Your partner begins to question what they missed, what they did, and what might come next. This curiosity becomes a powerful motivator, pulling them back toward you. Silence, when used intentionally, becomes a form of communication more powerful than words. Think of it like a movie with an unresolved ending. The audience can't stop thinking about it, replaying every scene, searching for clues. Your withdrawal is that unresolved ending. It leaves your partner replaying interactions, wondering where things shifted. The more they think, the more they realize your value, and the harder they work to win back your presence. Withdrawal isn't just about creating longing in your partner. It's about rediscovering yourself. Use this time to invest in your growth, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Dive into hobbies, build your confidence, and let your glow-up speak louder than any confrontation ever could. When your partner sees you thriving in their absence, it sends a clear message. You didn't leave because you were weak. You left because you're strong. Withdrawal is an art, and mastering it transforms you from someone waiting for attention into someone who commands it effortlessly. When you step back with purpose, you don't just regain your power, you become magnetic. Remember, this isn't about punishing your partner or manipulating them into chasing you. It's about creating space for respect, desire, and recognition to grow. As you move forward, keep this affirmation in mind. I am the river. My flow is precious. I step back, and the world adjusts to me. Let your withdrawal be the silent storm that reshapes the dynamics of your relationship, proving that your presence is a treasure worth earning. Affirmations are your personal compass, guiding your mind to align with your strength and self-worth. They remind you daily of the power you hold within. Here is your affirmation. I step back with strength, and my silence speaks louder than words. Write this affirmation in the comments below and claim your inner power today. If this message resonated with you, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. Your support fuels our mission to bring you transformative and empowering content. We're here to help you rise stronger every day. Number 1. Withdrawal transforms absence into influence. Have you ever noticed the silence after a storm? The air feels heavy, charged with unspoken words, and yet everything seems clearer, more profound. That's the power of absence, the way it lingers, influences, and reshapes the world it touches. In relationships, mastering the art of withdrawal allows your absence to become more than just a void. It transforms into a force that commands attention, demands respect, and redefines your value. It's not about punishing someone, it's about reclaiming your space and letting the silence speak your worth. There's a saying, you don't realize the value of water until the well runs dry. When you're constantly present, giving, and accessible, your presence becomes like that well, taken for granted because it feels endless. But the moment you step back, the true depth of your worth is revealed. Your withdrawal isn't a retreat. It's a recalibration, a way of showing that your energy is precious and not to be squandered. Think of a powerful lighthouse on a stormy night. Its light guides ships safely to shore. But what happens if that light vanishes? Suddenly, the absence of its beam becomes its most noticeable quality. The ships, lost and vulnerable, realize how much they relied on it. That's the influence your absence wields. It forces recognition, appreciation, and sometimes even a little regret. When you withdraw strategically, you're not just disappearing, you're creating a ripple effect. Your partner is left to navigate the void you leave behind, and in that silence, they reflect on your value. They start to ask themselves questions. What changed? Why do I feel this emptiness? Your absence disrupts their world in a way your constant presence never could. It's not about manipulation. It's about allowing them to see what they've overlooked. Absence diminishes mediocrity and inflames greatness, said François de la Rochefoucauld, and it couldn't be more accurate in the context of relationships. Mediocre attention, half-hearted effort, and complacency often arise when you're always available. But the moment you step back, it's like striking a match in the dark. The flames of curiosity, appreciation, and desire are reignited, and your partner begins to see you through fresh eyes. Imagine a symphony where the conductor suddenly halts the music. The silence isn't empty. It's full of anticipation, tension, and meaning. That pause makes the next note feel more powerful, more significant. Similarly, your withdrawal doesn't mean nothing is happening. On the contrary, your absence creates space for your partner to realize what they stand to lose. It's in that silence that your influence grows stronger, like a seed planted in fertile soil. Withdrawal isn't just about influencing others, it's about reclaiming yourself. When you step back, you're not abandoning the relationship. You're prioritizing your own worth. You're sending a clear message. My energy is not infinite, and my presence is not a guarantee. This shift isn't just transformative for them, it's empowering for you. You're no longer the person begging for attention or overextending yourself. Instead, you're the lighthouse, standing firm, letting others navigate toward you. The beauty of this process lies in its simplicity. You don't need dramatic gestures, long explanations, or emotional outbursts. Your absence is enough. It's the silence that speaks volumes, the void that resonates more deeply than words ever could. By stepping back, you show your partner that you're not afraid to prioritize yourself. And that's the kind of strength that commands respect and admiration. So the next time you feel undervalued or taken for granted, remember this. Stepping back isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's choosing to let your absence make the statement your words couldn't. It's allowing the silence to amplify your value and letting others feel the weight of what they've been neglecting. You're not just walking away. You're walking into a space where your energy is cherished and your worth is seen. Say this affirmation with me. My absence amplifies my worth. Write this in the comments to anchor it within yourself and to inspire others who need this reminder. Let the world know that you're reclaiming your space, your value, and your influence. If this message resonates with you, show your support by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. We pour our hearts into creating life-changing lessons like these, and your encouragement helps us reach more people who need these powerful insights. Let's continue this journey together, building strength, confidence, and the magnetism that comes with true self-respect. Number 2. Silence speaks louder than words. Have you ever stood in a forest at dusk, surrounded by the profound stillness of nature? It's not the sound of the birds or the rustle of the leaves that leaves you breathless. It's the silence. That silence holds an undeniable power, one that draws you in, commands your attention, and makes you feel the gravity of the moment. In relationships, silence carries the same kind of weight. When used intentionally, silence speaks volumes, communicating strength, self-respect, and magnetism in a way words never could. "Silence is a source of great strength," wrote Lao Tzu, and this truth resonates deeply in the art of withdrawal. When you stop explaining yourself, stop justifying your actions, and instead embrace silence, you shift the dynamic entirely. The space your silence creates becomes a mirror for your partner, forcing them to confront their behavior, their assumptions, and their feelings toward you. It's in this quiet that clarity arises, not only for them, but also for you. Imagine yourself as a sculptor, chipping away at a block of marble. Each strike of the chisel is deliberate and precise, shaping something extraordinary. But the silence between those strikes is just as important. It allows you to step back, assess, and let the shape take form. In the same way, silence in a relationship isn't about avoidance or passivity. It's about creating intentional pauses that allow transformation to occur. Words can cloud emotions, but silence cuts straight to the heart, leaving no distractions from the truth. When you choose silence, you send a powerful message. I respect myself enough to let my actions and boundaries speak for me. It's not about ignoring your partner or playing mind games. It's about stepping back to reclaim your emotional energy and show that your time and attention are not infinite resources. Silence creates mystery, and mystery, as any storyteller knows, captivates the audience. Suddenly, your partner is left wondering, what changed? Why aren't they responding? Did I take them for granted? Think of silence as the pause in a melody. Without it, the music would be chaotic, overwhelming, and hard to follow. But with those pauses, the notes breathe, creating rhythm, meaning, and beauty. Your silence allows your partner to hear the rhythm of their own thoughts and emotions, often leading them to reflect on their treatment of you. They begin to realize the depth of your presence, something they may have taken for granted in the noise of constant availability. This doesn't mean silence is always easy to maintain. The urge to explain yourself, to justify your feelings, or to bridge the gap can be strong, especially when emotions run high. But remember this: every unnecessary word you speak chips away at your power. Silence, on the other hand, is like a fortress, unassailable, solid, and commanding. It shows you are at peace with your decisions and do not need external validation to stand firm. One of the most compelling aspects of silence is its ability to shift focus back onto you. While your partner is left wondering and reflecting, you're free to invest your energy into self-growth. It's in this silence that you can recalibrate, realign your priorities, and rediscover the confidence and strength that might have been overshadowed. Withdrawal isn't just about what they're feeling, it's about what you're building. As you practice this art, you'll notice something remarkable. Your silence starts to draw people toward you. It's human nature to seek out what feels elusive and to value what isn't easily accessible. Silence, when wielded with intention and grace, makes you magnetic. It shows your partner that you're not afraid to step back, to prioritize yourself, and to let them come to terms with their own actions. The key is to wield silence, not as a weapon, but as a tool. It's not about punishing anyone, but about creating space for growth and understanding. By refusing to engage in unnecessary arguments or explanations, you're teaching your partner to value your time and energy. You're showing them that your worth is non-negotiable and that your presence is a privilege, not a guarantee. So, take a deep breath and embrace the quiet. Let your silence echo with strength and self-assurance. Remember, you don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing peace over chaos, clarity over confusion. Silence isn't weakness. It's the mark of someone who knows their value and refuses to compromise it. Say this affirmation out loud. My silence is my strength. It speaks louder than words. Write it in the comments below and let it be a reminder to yourself and others that power lies in restraint. And if this message resonated with you, show your support by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. We're here to bring you life-changing lessons that empower, uplift, and inspire. Your journey to strength starts here. Number 3. The scarcity principle. Value increases with distance. Imagine walking into a gallery filled with priceless paintings. Among the many pieces displayed, there's one masterpiece that stands out. It's roped off, guarded, and accompanied by a sign that says, "Not for sale." You can't help but be drawn to it, captivated by its rarity and the mystery of its untouchability. Now, think about this. If the same painting were placed in a thrift shop, easily accessible and priced for a quick sale, would it hold the same allure? This is the scarcity principle in action, a concept that underscores why value often increases with distance. When applied to relationships, it's transformative, turning your absence into a force that commands attention and respect. People don't value what's always available. They value what feels rare, exclusive, and hard to obtain. This isn't just a catchy saying, it's human nature. When you're always there, always accessible, your presence risks becoming mundane, like background noise people barely notice. But the moment you step back, when you withdraw your constant availability, something extraordinary happens. You create scarcity. And in scarcity, desire flourishes. Your absence doesn't just leave a void. It leaves an impression that lingers, forcing your partner to recognize the depth of what they once overlooked. Think of yourself as a rare flower that blooms only once in a season. When people know they can always have access to you, your beauty becomes predictable, even taken for granted. But when you pull back, when you become that elusive bloom, they can't help but stop and wonder, when will they come back? Did I lose them for good? This is not manipulation. It's nature's law of attraction. People crave what they cannot easily have, and your withdrawal taps into this deep psychological truth. Absence creates contrast. Imagine a candle's light in a brightly lit room. It's barely noticeable. But place that same candle in the dark, and suddenly its glow becomes mesmerizing, its warmth irresistible. Your presence works the same way. When you're constantly shining in someone's life, they can grow blind to your light. But when you withdraw, when you retreat into the shadows, your presence is no longer a given. It becomes a rare gift. They begin to see the brilliance of your light against the backdrop of your absence, realizing the value they once took for granted. This principle isn't about punishing your partner or playing games. It's about reclaiming your worth and reminding them that your time and attention are privileges, not guarantees. Scarcity forces your partner to ask themselves hard questions. Why don't they text as often? Why do I feel like I'm losing them? What can I do to bring them back into my orbit? These questions aren't born out of fear. They're born out of realization. Realization that your value lies not in how often you're present, but in the quality and rarity of the moments you choose to share. Even in nature, scarcity amplifies value. Diamonds are precious not because they're shiny, but because they're rare. Imagine if diamonds littered the sidewalks, available to anyone who passed by. Their allure would fade, their worth reduced to nothing more than glittering stones. Similarly, when you're constantly present, your partner sees your worth through a lens of abundance. But when you step back, you shift that lens, allowing them to see the rare and precious qualities that make you irreplaceable. Withdrawal is not an act of weakness, it's an act of strength. It's about showing that you don't need to prove your value through constant availability. Instead, you let your absence do the talking. By creating scarcity, you teach your partner to value your presence without demanding it. You turn the tables, not through confrontation, but through calm, quiet, and deliberate action. This kind of power isn't loud or boastful, it's subtle and magnetic. As you embrace the scarcity principle, remember that your value isn't tied to how much you give or how often you show up. Your value is in the unique qualities that make you who you are. By stepping back, you give others the opportunity to reflect, to miss you, and to truly appreciate what they once had. Your withdrawal isn't just a shift in behavior, it's a declaration of self-respect. Here's your affirmation. My presence is a gift. My absence creates value. Write this in the comments below and let it become your mantra. Every time you're tempted to overextend yourself or chase validation, remember this truth. Your worth is not diminished by distance. It's amplified by it. If this message resonates with you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us on this journey of growth and empowerment. We're committed to bringing you life-changing lessons, and your support helps us reach others who need these transformative insights. Together, we'll rise stronger, step back with purpose, and let the world rediscover our value. Number 4. Withdrawal creates space for self-growth. Imagine a cluttered room, every surface covered in random objects, leaving no space to breathe or move. It's chaotic, overwhelming, and stifling. Now, picture yourself removing one item at a time, clearing the clutter, creating open space. Suddenly, light pours in, clarity returns, and the room transforms into a place of peace and purpose. This is exactly what happens when you withdraw from a relationship where your energy is undervalued. Withdrawal isn't just stepping back from others, it's stepping forward into yourself. It's about creating the room you need to grow, breathe, and rediscover your worth. You cannot pour from an empty cup. This quote reminds us that self-growth begins when we stop overextending ourselves for others and start nurturing what's inside. Relationships that drain you, where your presence is taken for granted, can stifle your personal growth. Withdrawal becomes the most loving thing you can do for yourself, not as an act of revenge, but as a way to reclaim the energy you've been pouring into someone who isn't reciprocating. By stepping back, you give yourself the space to refill your cup, to rediscover the vibrant, magnetic person you've always been. Think of a garden choked with weeds. The flowers struggle to bloom, suffocated by what doesn't belong. But when you pull back, clearing the weeds, space opens up for beauty and life to thrive. In the same way, withdrawal removes the distractions and emotional clutter that prevent your growth. It gives you the freedom to focus on what truly matters, your goals, passions, and the joy of simply being you. It's a chance to nurture your inner garden, turning it into something so radiant that others can't help but notice. This time of withdrawal isn't about loneliness, it's about transformation. The moments you spend away from someone who doesn't value you are moments you invest in yourself. Maybe it's the time to take up that hobby you've been putting off, to dive into books that expand your mind, or to focus on your health and well-being. Each step you take towards self-improvement becomes a brick in the foundation of your unshakable confidence. This glow-up isn't for anyone else, it's for you. And as you grow, you become a force so strong that no one can ignore your worth. Imagine yourself as a sculptor with a block of marble. Every time you withdraw your energy from a draining relationship, you chip away at that marble, revealing the masterpiece hidden inside. It's a slow process, sometimes painful, but it's worth every moment. Because what you're uncovering isn't just a better version of yourself, it's the truest version of you, the one who doesn't need anyone's validation to shine. Withdrawal also gives you the clarity to see the relationship for what it truly is. When you step back, you can finally assess whether this connection is helping you grow or holding you back. It's like stepping away from a painting. Only from a distance can you see the full picture. If your relationship is filled with weeds, it becomes clear that your growth depends on continuing to create that space. But if the relationship has potential, your withdrawal gives your partner the chance to reflect, to see what they've been missing, and to step up. Either way, the growth starts with you. You don't grow when you're comfortable. This truth may feel harsh, but it's the key to understanding the value of withdrawal. It's uncomfortable to step away, to let go of the habit of giving too much. But in that discomfort lies the opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more in tune with who you truly are. As you create space for self-growth, you'll find that the version of you emerging is someone who no longer tolerates less than they deserve. And that's when the real magic happens. Because when you respect yourself, the world follows suit. The beauty of this process is that it doesn't just transform you, it changes how others see you. Your growth, your glow, your newfound confidence, these are impossible to ignore. Withdrawal becomes a statement, not of anger or bitterness, but of self-respect. And as you rise, those who didn't see your worth before will begin to question everything. They'll see the masterpiece you've become and wonder how they missed it. So, take this step for yourself. Withdraw from what drains you and step into the space where you can thrive. Let your energy flow back into your passions, your goals, and your peace. You are the sculptor of your life, and this is your time to create something extraordinary. Affirmation: I create space to grow and thrive. Write this in the comments to declare your commitment to self-growth and your refusal to settle for anything less than you deserve. Like this video if this message resonates with you, and subscribe to the channel to continue this journey of empowerment. We're working hard to bring you lessons that can truly change your life. Join us and let's grow together. Number 5. Boundaries. Become crystal clear. Have you ever noticed how a fence, no matter how simple, defines the boundaries of a property? It's a quiet declaration. This is mine. Respect it. Now think of your personal energy, time and emotions as your property. Without boundaries, people wander in, take what they want, and leave chaos in their wake. But the moment you step back and build those metaphorical fences, everything changes. Boundaries become crystal clear, not through endless explanations or arguments, but through your actions, especially the powerful act of withdrawal. As the saying goes, what you allow is what will continue. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out. They're about inviting respect. They teach others how to treat you, and withdrawal is the sharpest tool for carving out those lines. When you pull back, you signal that you value your energy too much to waste it on those who don't appreciate it. You don't need to shout or demand. Your absence speaks for itself. It tells your partner, I will not stay where I'm undervalued. If you want access to me, you'll need to rise to meet my standards. Imagine your boundaries as a fortress. Without walls, anyone can walk in, raid your peace, and leave without consequence. But when you withdraw, you start constructing that fortress brick by brick. You're not just keeping out those who disrespect you. You're fortifying yourself with self-respect. Your partner begins to notice the shift. They sense the difference, feel the distance, and start to understand that the unlimited access they once enjoyed is no longer theirs to abuse. It's not coldness, it's clarity. You're teaching them that your boundaries aren't just words, they're a way of life. Think about a beautiful garden. Without a fence, weeds and careless footsteps destroy its beauty. But when the garden is enclosed, only those who value its splendor are allowed to enter. Withdrawal is that fence. It doesn't lock people out forever. It simply ensures that only those who respect your space get to stay. Your partner will see this, and they'll be forced to make a choice. Step up or step away. Boundaries don't make you unapproachable, they make you irreplaceable. When your partner sees that your presence isn't a given, that your time and energy are privileges, not entitlements, they begin to respect and value you on a deeper level. This isn't about punishment or manipulation. It's about protecting the precious gift of yourself. It's about showing the world and yourself that you're worthy of respect, love, and appreciation. As you embrace this step, remember, boundaries are a form of self-love. Every time you enforce them, you're choosing yourself over chaos, clarity over confusion. Affirm this truth and let it become your mantra. My boundaries are my strength. Write this in the comments to claim it and remind yourself every day of the power you hold. If this message resonates with you, show your support by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. We're working hard to bring you life-changing lessons that empower and uplift. Join us in building a community that values strength, self-respect, and the art of thriving. Let's rise together. Number 6. The mystery effect. You become unpredictable. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the undeniable pull of someone whose presence seemed enigmatic, their intentions and thoughts cloaked in quiet mystery? That's the power of unpredictability. In relationships, becoming a mystery is not about playing games or creating confusion. It's about reclaiming your value by withholding what was once given too freely. When you step back and become less predictable, you ignite curiosity, leaving your partner wondering about you in a way they never did before. As the saying goes, mystery is not about hiding yourself. It's about revealing yourself strategically. It's not deception, it's an art. Think of a starry night sky. It's beautiful, vast, and awe-inspiring because not every star can be seen at once. The darkness adds to its allure, leaving the viewer intrigued by what might be beyond their sight. Now think of your presence in a relationship. If you're always shining brightly, always available, always predictable, your partner no longer looks up in wonder. But when you withdraw, when you let some of the light fade, they begin to notice the stars they once overlooked. Your unpredictability doesn't push them away. It pulls them in, compelling them to search for what's now hidden. Unpredictability in relationships isn't about creating drama, it's about creating depth. When you step back and act in ways that deviate from their expectations, you disrupt the rhythm they've come to take for granted. This disruption forces your partner to reflect, to reevaluate, and to chase the understanding they now crave. Suddenly, you're no longer the open book they thought they had mastered. You're an unsolved riddle, and humans are naturally drawn to mysteries they can't immediately solve. Imagine a game of chess. If your opponent knows every move you're going to make, they'll always have the upper hand. But when you start playing unpredictably, pausing when they expect action, making bold moves when they expect caution, you seize control of the game. That's the effect your unpredictability has in relationships. It forces the other person to recalibrate, to think deeply about how they approach you, and most importantly, to appreciate your complexity. This isn't about manipulation. It's about balance. You're showing your partner that your world doesn't revolve around them, and that your presence is not a constant to be taken for granted. The unpredictability you create makes them yearn for the stability they once overlooked. It's in your absence, in your silence, and in your new behavior that they start to see what they're missing. Remember, mystery is your silent power. It doesn't scream for attention, it pulls attention toward it. When you master the art of unpredictability, you become magnetic, irresistible, and unforgettable. Your strength lies in your ability to hold back, to let them wonder, to let them chase. Affirm this truth. I am a mystery worth uncovering. Write it in the comments below and let it become your mantra. If this message resonates with you, show your support by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. We are working hard to create lessons that inspire transformation, and your support helps us continue this journey. Let's grow together, one powerful step at a time. Number 7. Emotional mastery becomes your superpower. Imagine a storm raging in the middle of the ocean. Fierce winds, crashing waves, chaos everywhere. But deep below the surface, in the heart of the ocean, there is calm, stillness, and peace. This is the essence of emotional mastery. While the storms of life rage above, mastering your emotions keeps you grounded, unshaken, and in control. When you harness this inner strength, you become untouchable, radiating a quiet power that others can't help but be drawn to. Control your emotions, or they will control you. This timeless principle isn't just about stoicism, it's about freedom. Emotional mastery is the superpower that sets you apart, especially in relationships. It's the ability to rise above petty conflicts, to remain calm in the face of provocation, and to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. When you can master your emotions, you reclaim control, not just over yourself, but over the entire dynamic of your relationship. Think of your emotions as a roaring fire. Uncontrolled, the fire can consume everything in its path, leaving destruction in its wake. But when you contain it, when you learn to direct its energy, that same fire becomes a source of warmth, light, and power. Emotional mastery is about tending your inner fire, ensuring it burns steady and bright, without ever letting it run wild. It's the silent strength that makes you magnetic. Your partner will sense your unshakable presence and find themselves unable to resist the pull of someone who cannot be rattled. This mastery is not about becoming cold or detached. It's about choosing your battles wisely. When someone tries to provoke you, their goal is often to control you through your reaction. But when you remain composed, when you smile calmly and say nothing, they lose their power. You've taken back control, and in that moment, you're no longer just a participant in the dynamic. You're the one setting the tone. People respect the calm. They're captivated by the unflappable. Be like a mountain, the Stoics often said. No matter how fierce the winds, the mountain remains unmoved, solid, and majestic. This is the image of emotional mastery, an unwavering inner strength that commands respect and admiration. Your calm becomes a fortress that no one can breach, a beacon that others seek to align with. When you embody this kind of mastery, you're not just surviving challenges, you're thriving in them, growing stronger and more magnetic with every step. When you practice emotional mastery in your relationship, you show your partner that your happiness doesn't hinge on their whims. You are complete, independent, and deeply rooted in your self-worth. This is what makes you irresistible, someone who can stand firm in their power, who can weather any emotional storm without breaking. And the best part? This strength is something you cultivate within, meaning no one can take it from you. So the next time you feel the pull to react, pause. Remember that your calm is your superpower. By choosing peace over chaos, you elevate yourself. You remind your partner and yourself that you are in control of your emotions, not the other way around. Emotional mastery isn't just a skill, it's a declaration of your self-worth, an act of reclaiming your power. Take this affirmation and make it yours. I am calm, I am unshaken, I am in control. Write this in the comments below to affirm your strength and inspire others to do the same. Let's build a community of people committed to their growth and inner power. If this message resonates with you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're dedicated to bringing you life-changing lessons like this, and your support helps us reach more people who need to hear these empowering words. Let's rise together, stronger and calmer than ever before. Number 8. You reclaim the power dynamic. Imagine you're playing a game of chess, and for too long you've been the pawn, easily sacrificed, overlooked, and moved at someone else's will. Then, one decisive moment changes everything. You stop reacting to their moves and start strategizing your own. Suddenly, the game is different. You're no longer chasing their king. Instead, they're scrambling to protect it. This is the power of reclaiming the dynamic in relationships. It's not about control. It's about balance, self-respect, and redefining the way you show up. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow, what you stop, and what you reinforce. This quote perfectly captures the essence of taking back the power. Relationships can easily slip into patterns where one partner becomes the giver, the chaser, the fixer, while the other simply receives. When you master the art of withdrawal, you break that cycle. By stepping back, you send a powerful message. I will no longer pour into a space where I am undervalued. Think of a flame dancing in the wind. As long as it's exposed, the gusts threaten to snuff it out. But when the flame is sheltered, carefully protected, it grows stronger, steadier, untouchable. In the same way, when you protect your energy and pull back, you reignite your presence. You are no longer at the mercy of their whims. Instead, they are drawn to the steady warmth of your fire, realizing that it's something they can't take for granted. When you reclaim the power dynamic, you're not being cold or distant. You're showing your partner that your presence is valuable, not a given. By withdrawing strategically, you allow them to feel the absence of your energy, forcing them to confront their own actions and the role they play in the relationship. This isn't manipulation, it's clarity. It's letting them see that you are not someone who will settle for breadcrumbs when you deserve the full banquet. Reclaiming the power dynamic also means reclaiming your emotional independence. You stop looking to them for validation, approval, or a sense of worth. Instead, you cultivate that within yourself. This shift is magnetic. When you no longer need someone to complete you, you become whole on your own, and that wholeness is irresistible. They start to see you not as someone they can control, but as someone they want to respect, cherish, and fight to keep in their life. You have the power to rewrite the narrative of your relationship. By stepping back, you are no longer the pawn. You are the queen, moving with purpose, strategy, and grace. The game changes when you decide it does, and you hold that decision in your hands. Now is the time to stand tall in your worth and take back the respect you